MVP, FX Open, LGIM, AZUBU, Prime, Startail.
Welcome back to the GSTL, and we could have potentially our last game here. Alicia is able to take out Symbol.
Yeah, Symbol is going to be the last player for the team once again. He is confident in his abilities here to not only take down Alicia, but also the potential last player for Team Axiom-Acer. So if it comes to that, as it is, we have a 3-2 lead for Axiom-Acer. Scarlet delivering 2 early wins for the team.
Yep. Well done so far for the Axiom-Acer team. And Symbol is, you know, he's one of those players who we did not expect to see today just simply because of his Code S scenario. You know, even sending out somebody like Violet would have been the more likely choice in our minds, but to have him out here is... Yeah, he's the better player for sure.
The thing is, he's not playing against a Protoss in Code S, but still a Protoss player could be the potential next player for Axiom-Acer, so there's always the chance that you end up playing the same matchup that you have to play individually. On the other hand, it's really a matter of preference if a player has a problem with that or not. We've talked to a lot of players in the past, and some of them just say, yes, I want to hide all my strategies, I don't want to show anything to my opponent that he can analyze, whereas others are like, yeah, I have so many strategies, I don't really mind, it's not gonna be the same thing, it's completely different. So it really ends up on being a personal preference and who you're talking to.
Yeah.
Symbol himself, he feels confident, not only against Alicia here, but he's like, well, even if I defeat Alicia and there's a Terran player facing me in the last match, it's gonna be fine, that's not gonna be a problem.
We'll see what they end up doing here on this map. Star Station, a great map choice for Zerg, a very large map.
And we're heading into the potential last game of the day here at the GSTL Season 1 2013. AZUBU up against Axiom-Acer, brought to you by Color. The last Zerg standing for Team AZUBU starts at the top right of Star Station. It is
AZUBU Symbol.
You know, I think he actually considered going for a very fast drone scout. He had a drone, pulled for a second, and then he sent it back. Did not do it.
Symbol in this position came out, well, let's introduce the player at the bottom left first. Crow's position is the Protoss for Team Axiom-Acer. It is
Axiom-Acer.
Alicia with a good performance against Supernova, took down the Terran player, finds himself now up against the Zerg. And talking about Symbol, he came out as the last player for Team AZUBU when they were facing Incredible Miracle. And LGIM, they sent out first, who took 2 wins, and then Symbol won on this map in particular against the Protoss player. So this seems to be the pick for Symbol against Protoss. Later on, against Squirtle, he wasn't able to win, but for now he has to just do it once again in the ZVP on a map of his choice.
Yeah. And Squirtle, if I'm not remembering incorrectly, you did a very effective timing push on that game, so I wonder if right now he's just thinking, well, you know, he seems a little bit weaker to timing attacks, maybe I can hit him with something here.
We have Symbol going for the pool first. A lot of Zerg players these days are trying to get the hatch first out on a 4-player map against their opponent, but Symbol is not taking any chances. He's heading straight into the pool and then adds the hatch a little bit later, playing it safe.
Yeah. But Alicia goes Gateway Expand.
Yeah. We don't see a Forge first, or Nexus first. He's going into the Gateway, which allows him to be a bit more aggressive with his timings.
Probe goes into this. And get some good info here.
And you know, so far, Symbol doesn't know what's going on. And with the spots, the spawning positions as it is, he will see very, very late what's happening here. And that can be a problem. Because usually, as a Zerg, if you see your opponent going into Forge, you want to take your expansion, your third that is, at roughly 420. And right now, he has to make a choice. And if he gets the third, and that's exactly what he does, then he might find himself in a position where he can't hold it.
Yeah, you're right. We're going to see a Mothership Core come down very soon. There it is on the production tab. Just a very standard Gateway expand of the Mothership Core coming down, but you're so right, and if Alicia gets wind of this, he can definitely put some heavy Gateway pressure on, even 6 Gateway Sentry type push that we saw in Wings of Liberty in early 2011 and late 2010. That type of push can be very deadly.
There we go, Zergling gets in, and now Symbol at least knows what's going on. He saw that there's no Forge first opening, and that gives him all the information that he needs. He needs to play this safe, and he needs a lot more than only one Zergling to see what's coming.
Yeah, definitely. So he sent the second one down right now. He wants to know how many gateways are added at the wall, at least, so he can say, all right, well, maybe he's going for a push. He has 3 gates at the wall instead of 2. But Alicia not going to give him any extra information here.
Yeah, but Symbol, as I said, he has to be careful here. We've seen a lot of Protoss players taking down the third of a Zerg because he was a little bit too greedy. And for Symbol, this is a bit of an uncomfortable position here. He knows what could happen. And we have 3 gates now being built. Not only the 2 are in front of the wall, but we have another one in the main base. And therefore, we will see 4 gates by the Axiom-Acer player. And this allows him to be so aggressive.
Yeah, and we could see even more. He could add 2 more.
And there's already the pylon that we are seeing a little bit far away from the bases. He will probably try to sneak the probe a bit closer and set down another one. But he already has a warp in point here, and the probe now on the way to drop another one.
The thing about this pylon is that this is where he's going to warp in his first round of units, and then they're going to start walking over. He could even do 2 rounds while it's a secret that he's attacking, and then his attack when it arrives is more of a shocker. And it's also an angle that Symbol is not going to expect. So I really like this choice of pylon placement. Obviously, as you said, closer pylons now being added.
And it's a little bit weird to see Symbol not having a single Overlord position to the left. He also doesn't hold the Xel'Naga Watchtower, the upper one. So that could be really scary. He's adding the Roach Warren as we speak, but in this position, he's going to face a 4-gate and he just doesn't have the numbers. He's only relying on Zerglings. He might be able to hold this, but it's definitely not going to be easy, especially since he doesn't even have speed ready.
When speed finishes, that's when things are going to get really intense. He has to hold on until then. Queen wants to target down that Mothership Core because there is a time warp available. He cannot allow that Force Field to go down on the ramp. If that happens, the game will basically end at that moment.
And I think this might actually happen. The next round of warp-ins is here. Now we have the time warp. The Mothership Core is retreating. The Zerglings taking down the sentries. The unit control of Alicia really lacking here.
Yeah, that was extremely poorly done.
Uh-oh, and he loses the Mothership Core as well. So now he's swapping in additional Zealots, but I'm not quite sure if he can push through. The Roach Warren is done. He can get Roaches in addition to the Lings.
Yeah, it looks like he wants to stick with Lings for now, just simply because he knows he has an overwhelming amount.
He's getting 26 additional Zerglings, and Alicia is losing unit after unit. Symbol has done it.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And this is with all the commitment now that we see here for Alicia. There's no transition, and he's basically going to lose this game. This was not even supposed to be an all-in, but he's made it one, and
he lost everything. He's trying to transition into a Stargate, but Symbol is already heading into a lair tech. He's still on 3 bases. He can drone up now and be aggressive with the links that he has on the map. So this is a very uncomfortable position for Alicia. That didn't do anything.
Yeah, very much nothing done there, and very poor unit control from Alicia. He should have saved those sentries with force fields. I don't know what happened there exactly, but
even if you don't use the force fields, there were only a few Zerglings. He could have just pulled the sentries back. That alone would have saved them.
Yeah. That was...
at least from the first wave. I mean, later on, of course, we had an overwhelming amount of melee units for Symbol, but still, that's something where Alicia could have done a lot more damage.
And with all these pylons being scouted now, I love this. Symbol just knows, all right, well, you've got some warping points around here. I'm going to go find them, I'm going to kill them, and make you make more pylons. You're going to get supply blocked.
And Symbol, I mean, look at this. The guy is not taking any chances at all. He's going into Spore Crawlers that makes him safe against DTs, against air units as well. He knows everything that's going on here, and for Symbol, this is amazing. I mean, it couldn't be in a better spot. He's just droning up, he has links on the map, he took down so many pylons, he's heading into the Hydra Den here.
Yeah, I mean, Alicia's just going to go into a second all-in. Well, this was going to be basically his first planned all-in, where he's going to go into Void Rays, it looks like. Although he does start +1, he's not making any probes. This is very strange. You know, he's desperate at this point in time, obviously. He doesn't really have... you know, his original plan is over, and now he's got to try to kind of on the fly figure out how to respond and kind of catch up in this game.
It just looks like he tries to be on one base and go into this air style and trying to just be defensive for as long as he can. He cannot really hope to take a 3rd base. That's his biggest problem.
Yeah. And here are those gateways.
That's going to be a slaughter. I mean, I'm
no
sorry,
way. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know why he has +1. That timing is going to really hurt him.
With all the gates that he's dropping now, it really looks like he wants to move out again, and the +1 attack upgrade for the Void Race is not going to help him at all. And the ground units, I mean, gateway units without any upgrades against Hydralisks and Lings and potential Roaches, this is going to be This is going to be... Yeah, it's just going to be...
It's going to be terrible.
I don't have any words for this. This is going to be so ugly.
We're going to watch a bunch of Protoss units fall into pieces on the ground. There will not be any blue blood because this is StarCraft 1, but or StarCraft 2. Hydras are, I mean, he's not only the Hydras he has on the way, but all the Lings he has out on the map right now. Those are the ones I'm talking about. Those are some of them.
Symbol can either just walk across the map now and finish it. There's just basically nothing that Alicia can do about it. Or he can just sit tight. I mean, whatever he does, I would be very surprised if Alicia manages to get a good engagement with the units that he has, the supply deficit that he has, and the unit composition that he's currently controlling.
When he saw that just then, he has that same kind of emotion you feel when you find like $5 under your bed. You're like, oh, that was kind of cool. At this point, he's looking at this army. He's like, oh, okay, you're gonna do that. Well, that's exactly what I've already prepared for. So,
Symbol scouted in the main. Yeah, he knows now everything that's going on. He has more Lings on the way. He has a good lava management. We have him with so many. I mean, there's just no way.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to oversimplify this, but it's just.
This composition is just the best composition you could have, and the advantage that he has is incredible. He's lacking a little bit in lava now that he is committed to this many Zerglings, so you can see it with the bank that he has. But still, this is something where Alicia has to move in. He's still on 2 bases, and he has no hopes of taking a third.
And his composition is just so hard countered here.
The range upgrade is being completed for Symbol, and he's going into speed now. If this round of Hydralisk gets out on the map, then there's just nothing that's left anymore.
Yeah.
But he should be careful how he approaches it with good force fields. Now Alicia is suddenly in like a better spot than he could hope for.
Yeah, but the Hydras just have such a range here. Yeah, the force fields are good, but they're going to fade away in a few seconds.
The time warp is there, but we also have Spore Crawlers taking charge and taking down the first 2 Void Rays. And yeah,
this is that slaughter you were talking about.
This is game. That's a graveyard.
Yeah.
We are watching Symbol building a graveyard for Alicia.
Yeah, all those Protoss bits I was talking about, they're just all falling down. GG. Alicia's poor unit control and his timing attack really put him at such a bad footing that he had to make a risky, weird all-in, and it did not work.
If you go for that 4-gate and you do literally no damage, you lose everything, you don't even recall your units back, there is no hope for a transition. Your opponent already being on 3 bases has the better economy, the better tech, the better unit composition. Symbol made no mistakes, he found every single forward pylon that Alicia had, so also run-bys were not an option anymore to put pressure on the economy. Symbol just, that was a smackdown.
Smacked down. Crank standing up there for a moment. The last player here, I don't actually know who they're going to rely on.
I want to see Hart. There's Hart and Crank. That's the 2 players that they have sitting on the bench now. We had Crank out several times already. Hart is a little bit unpredictable because he was known to be one of the most cheesiest players that we had in StarCraft 2. Always going for 1-base timings, especially against Protoss. Now we have him in a position where he has shown several times that he can go into the late game as a very solid late game, but he still has the option of being aggressive here. So I feel he would be the more unpredictable player.
Yeah.
With Crank, I don't know. I mean, the guy is good. I don't want to take anything away from Crank, but I personally would prefer Hart.
Yeah, same here. You know, if they were down 3 points and Hart has to beat like 3 different players, I'd be like, no, you need Crank here. But in this case, since all he has to do is beat 1 player, you know, I think Hart is the better choice. All he needs to do is win 1 game. He's great with builds. He's your Billware guy. He's got a book of builds, and he can just pick one.
I think both of them can do it, and they probably were just sitting in the booth and talking to each other and just asking, okay, who feels that he can take down a Zerg player? Who feels that he is really solid in the matchup these days and with the maps that are left? So in this situation, I mean, it could be either one of them.
Yeah. We saw already Symbol beat a Protoss today. So, you know, if you use a Protoss, you have to keep that in mind. But last time the same situation happened where he beat a Protoss and lost to a Protoss.
Yeah, and also the style that Alicia played. I mean, Alicia was trying to take down the 3rd base here. He didn't wait long. The unit control was poor in the first fight, and then just everything fell apart. Yeah, I feel actually when the Zenty were taken out, he probably didn't even look at the fight. It didn't really look like he was.
Maybe he was chrono boosting his gateways or something.
Exactly. He was probably just down the main base, chrono boosting, and then when he jumped back and realized he was being attacked, he lost the sentries. I feel that's what happened there. So not really a run-of-the-mill match, but let's see what's going on. We have... Is it Crank? It looks like him, yeah. It's gonna be Crank.
Yep.
Gonna be another Protoss player.
Crank. And AZUBU coach smiling as usual. Starting to look a little bit worried for some reason.
You know, this match is exactly what we expected. A very close match between the two teams. They're on eye level here.
Yeah. It goes down to the final match. Crank, of course, currently in Code B. Not really the type of player who, for a while he was saying he was really focusing on being kind of a coach for the team and just kind of being that mentor, but he's obviously stepped back into the role of a player very nicely, as we've seen him come out several times in the team league now this season.
Yeah, not quite pulling a Choya yet.
No, not quite. I like that, though. I mean, he's still young enough, and he's got a lot of talent as a player.
I think Rang is a little bit annoyed with his results today.
Yeah, he should be.
He always delivers. Not today, though.
Inca is looking a little bit funny over there.
Well, he's hiding.
Yeah. I'm like, we still see you, Inca. You're not a Dark Templar.
I would love if Inca, as soon as he realizes he's on camera, just puts on a hood or something.
I would love to
grabs
see
the sky.
I would love to see him just disappear, and we're like, oh my god, he is a Dark Templar. I always wonder, by the way, in those cinematics with Zeratul, the DT, is that just like what detectors see, or like when Zeratul's talking to Raynor, can Raynor not actually see him, and he's just looking, he's like, I don't know, that Ihan crystal is just kind of floating over there, like, what is this, who am I talking to? I always wonder about that. I'm like, does Raynor actually see, or am I a detector?
And how does he actually prove to Raynor that it's really him and not some other Dark Templar?
Yeah. You know, I mean, I guess Raynor and him used to be friends. You know, he knows the voice, but...
Raynor's like, boys, I need a scan here. I need a scan immediately.
Yeah. Maybe Raynor actually has special contacts to their detectors. I don't know.
Some advanced technology granted by Protoss players, handed down throughout generations.
Maybe so.
Glasses that already his mom used.
Well,
heading into the last game of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we have Crank up against Symbol. Finding out who wins this series today here at the GSTL. Axiom-Acer up against Team AZUBU.